Good morning, Anchor Church. This week is the halfway mark of the Faith, Family, and Food campaign. Today I wanted to share with you an update on the generosity that has flowed forth from your hearts and your hands. At the end of Philippians, Paul shares his gratitude and appreciation for all of the believers who supported his work. In the same way, I am so blown away and want to show my own appreciation and the church's appreciation for your support in prayer and your resources. So far, we have reached a total of $565 just for the bicycles alone, which allows us to purchase and exceed our goal of 5 bicycles. We also wanted to bless and provide for 5 refugee families, and with the giving so far, we will be able to give to at least 7 families and counting, and we will also be able to feed 14 of our 20 families, which is our ultimate goal, and our children's ministry has raised over $50 alone just to give to Hot Meals for Children. I continue to stand in amazement at both God's work in our own hearts, but also what He is going to do for His glory. At the very same time, I do realize that sometimes these projects can seem a bit distant to us. However, today I just want to share 2 different things and ways that we can maybe connect more a little bit closer to home. Most of you know and are aware of our long-standing relationship with Jacques and Sebastian in the Ivory Coast. I couldn't make this particular situation any more practical than it already is. Last week I shared about the obstacles of the gospel and its movement if people don't have the transportation to take it to different communities. And bicycles and motorbikes are the main way to do that. However, if people don't have them or if they break down, this becomes an even greater obstacle because people don't have the money to fix them. Just this last week, as I've been praying about spreading the gospel, I received an email from Shirley Corley, head of Stepping Out Missions, whom we support. Jacques and Sebastian are 2 of the leaders and teachers at the Galigro School. Their motorbike recently broke down. They use this to visit church plants, to visit pastors, to visit already existing churches, and to bring greetings and encouragement to believers. Attached, you'll actually see a map that is simply astounding to me. Each red dot on this map represents a church that has been planted by just two small graduating classes. This totals 18 current churches. Anchor Church, this is the amazing work that God has allowed us to partner in. Here is where you can come in. The roads in Africa are at best like a walking path or a bicycle path that is heavy with brush and mud. The motorbike is the best way to do their visiting. While we will continue to bless Samaritan's Purse, we also know of this personal need. If you would like to give towards these repairs, please contact me personally with the information on how to give. Finally, this week, we have been joining as a church to pray for the growing refugee crisis. Sometimes this too can seem very distant. We don't live in a war-torn country, nor are we persecuted to the point of having to move our families. So my desire is to bring this a little bit closer home for your consideration as well. A little over a week ago, I had this opportunity to speak with our long-term Converge missionary, John Baxter. He and his wife, Jan, are involved in what is called diaspora missions. And basically, this is the missions of movement. This is a fascinating area of missions that in recent years continues to grow as the world is in more upheaval. There are 2 groups of people that John and Jan minister to. The first group lives under this broader term called migrants. Most of these people or families move for economic reasons. This was super practical for me in Hong Kong. Most Chinese families in Hong Kong would have a live-in Filipino or Indonesian helper who took care of and raised the family. Most of these women would stay anywhere between 2 to 10 years to help secure the financial situations of their own families back in their home countries. This opened the door for churches to be able to minister to these women. My own church did the exact same thing. There was an urgency to the gospel, as there always should be, but these women stayed for very limited amounts of time. So we desired them to know Christ, but also to spread Christ when they went back to their home countries. This is the same type of work that John and Jan have been involved in for many, many years. However, their new calling calls them to the second group of refugees. And this one is of growing historic proportions. While John and Jan have been involved in migrant work, their new call is to Malaga, Spain, and to head up projects for the governments of nations who are receiving the influx of refugees. They are looking for prayerful partnership with churches and individuals to work with Christians who can provide services and also share Christ. Historically, refugee communities have been open to the love of Jesus Christ, and this new position for John and Jan allows them to partner with churches like our own to care for and love refugee communities in the coming months and years. You will find a link either in the newsletter or on Facebook entitled John and Jan Baxter. I encourage you to click it and watch their video and be moved by the work that they are doing and the work that Anchor Church is currently supporting. Thank you once again for the joy that you provide the church and for others.